My name's Sue Manning and I'm an independent funeral celebrant, and I trained with the Funeral Celebrant Academy back in September last year, late September. I looked very carefully for my course choice, who was going to train me, and there were lots of choices around the country. I live in Cambridge, and so when I found the course that really ticked all the boxes, I had to travel to Birmingham to do that. Was it worth it? 100%. One of the most impressive things about training with Stuart and the Funeral Celebrant Academy is the extensive list of topics, areas that are covered. When I think about what I want from training, having come from a training background myself, I want a trainer who is going to engage me. I want the material to be relevant, and I want the information that I'm given consistently to be accurate. And one of the reasons that I think things have gone well for me since that training is all those three things hit the mark every time. What you get with Stuart is a huge depth of experience, not just as a celebrant, but also as a funeral director. So having that dual perspective had made a huge difference to the questions we were hitting him with non-stop, the encouragement he will give you during that course to engage. It doesn't matter if you fluff things, if you make a mistake, he'll talk you through it. And the central thing with Stuart is he likes people, and that comes across very clearly. His success, as he always says, is your success. So I just want to talk briefly about since I started, I actually kicked off at the beginning of November, and what's happened to me since. If I think about what was covered, my very straightforward advice would be, do what Stuart tells you to do. It's that simple. He talked about marketing. So I actually took a month before I went to funeral directors, although of course you can go straight out and do it, but I took a month. I wanted a website so that I can direct funeral directors or individuals that might want to see what I look like before the funeral, and to give a context on me. I chose to have Stuart do that for me because when I looked at the examples that he had put together for websites, they were really impressive. So I set up getting my cards printed. I got a flyer printed on one page. And then I remembered Stuart saying, always with his giggle, about when you go and meet a funeral director, to take something edible, whether it's donuts or chocolates. So my mind said, well, if I'm a celebrant, I need celebrations. Probably overthinking it. But then decided that I could cut and paste very easily my flyer onto a circle that I just stuck on the box. I have to say, I went back to Stuart and said, what do you think? Is it over the top? Encouraging as always, he said, go with it. I think funeral directors will love it. And they did. Caused a giggle, which was great. But every time I went into a funeral director's that gave me time to have a chat, I always said, please have some chocolates and my details are on the top if you decide to use me. I think that I've initially went into a couple of funeral directors in London. I live in Cambridge. I found that really useful. I did that during my month when I was waiting for my marketing to come through. When I visited local funeral directors, I visited 6 Out of the 6, 4 that I went in with my chocolates and everything else have given me work. I've now started working for 5 funeral directors, and I'm just waiting for the 6th. So from November, working with Christmas in between, I'm now on my 14th funeral. So when I think about what I picked up from Stuart, and remember, it's not just all the backup in the file, there's also the USB resource there was so useful, but I've also used Stuart himself. And I think that's the real selling point on the Funeral Celebrant Academy, in that you can go back to Stuart time and time again. Something you're not sure of, it might be small things, it might be big things, but he comes back to you immediately, or as soon as he possibly can, and will carry on backing up your learning. I'm still learning lots of stuff, but if you follow what you learn on your course about making the real effort to tease out from the family the real personality of the deceased, really reflect the memories as they have them. The comments I've had about it really felt like you knew them, Sue, your patience with us, when they're saying, oh, Sue, there's something else, can I add it? Of course you can. So still learning, still making sure that I'm using everything Stuart told me. There was no bad advice. Then hopefully you, like me, will feel that things have gone brilliantly, much better than I ever thought, and the funerals are still coming in thick and fast, as mine has. Then I'm sure you'd be delighted. Thanks for listening. Cheers, bye-bye.